Good afternoon and welcome to another late edition here at Savannah State University. I'm your host, Adetimi Obilana. Our top story takes place in Syria, where there's a war on the rise. Many were abducted, many lost their lives, and many were injured. Let's take a look. 9 Lebanese nationals abducted 17 months ago in Syria returned home Saturday after a multinational deal to secure their release. They arrived at Beirut Rafik Hariri International Airport on a flight from Turkey, where they were sent after being freed Friday, according to Lebanon State National News Agency. Lebanese Foreign Affairs Minister Adnan Mansour and Interior Minister Marwan Shabel, together with relatives of the freed hostages, were at the airport to welcome them home. Their return follows the release of 2 Turkish airline pilots who were abducted in Beirut 2 months ago, the agency said. The pilots arrived Saturday in Istanbul, where Prime Minister Recep Tayyip Erdogan greeted them, Turkey's semi-official Anadolu agency reported. Turkish President Abdullah Gül spoke to the pilots by phone. One of the pilots, Murat Akpınar, said he understood why there was no military raid to rescue them, since that they could have led hundreds of deaths. He said he never lost faith. We knew that our government was behind us, and they would not leave us there, Akpınar said. The 9 Lebanese were kidnapped in May 2012 in Aleppo, Syria, as were they returning home from religious pilgrimage to Iran. Some in Syria accuse them of being members of Hezbollah, a Shiite militant group. The pilots were going from the Beirut airport to a hotel when their bus was ambushed August 9th. They may have been targeted in retaliation for the Lebanese abductions because many Lebanese Shiites oppose the Turkish government's support for rebels in Syria. Palestinian officials, as well as the governments of Qatar and Turkey, played a role in securing the swap, Lebanese officials said. Free passage for many inside Syria remains out of reach. On Saturday, the UN humanitarian chief called for a ceasefire on Modammeh so that aid workers could evacuate thousands of civilians trapped in the conflict, which reportedly has killed more than 100,000 people since it began in March 2011. We'll be right back after this commercial break.
Here at the University by the Sea, we are privileged enough to have our very own radio station on campus. Hodge Hall is located directly behind Hill Hall. The radio station is divided into 2 sections. One side caters to the student body, also known as WSSU 104.1.
Welcome back to WSSU. I am your host, Cooley Making Moves.
While the other side caters to Savannah area and parts of South Carolina, WHCJ 90.3.
Greetings and welcome to Impressions. My name is Ike Carter. I'm your host.
Thank you for visiting WHCJ and WSSU, the voice of Savannah State University.
Welcome back. Our next story takes place in Florida, where an African-American male was profiled at his job. Let's take a look.
Imagine heading into work for the day and wondering if you're about to be arrested for no good reason. A man in Miami Gardens, Florida, says that's been a daily reality for him for years. Now he's fighting back. Amber Taylor has more on the case that's putting police on the defensive. Take a look at this surveillance video. It shows Earl Sampson being detained in a Miami Gardens, Florida convenience store and then led away. Now get this, Sampson was arrested 27 times at this convenience store and convicted of trespassing. He's been detained many times more. There it says Sampson and the store owner a bit more of a problem here. You see, Sampson works at the store. He spoke with CNN affiliate. They always stop me, going through my pockets and asking for my ID, my name. In all, Sampson has been stopped and arrested at various places 288 times. A year and a half ago, store owner Ali Salih decided he had enough, so he installed the surveillance cameras. Over and over again, Salih says his cameras recorded police stopping and frisking and detaining not only his employees, but customers too. I feel abused. I believe I live in America, and America has a constitution to protect its citizens. Salih, Sampson, and several local residents this week filed a federal lawsuit against others. The city, the mayor, and the police chief charging civil rights violations. The suit reads in part, MGPD officers have used and continue to use race and or national origin for the purpose of stopping, frisking, searching, seizing, and arresting black males. Before the suit was filed, Miami Gardens police issued a statement to local news stations saying they are investigating the allegations and that they take seriously complaints against their officers. During the past couple of years, Miami Gardens have been going through a rare of shootings and killings. The store sits in a high-crime area. It's not clear whether it's being singled out more than others, and if so, why. The city's mayor says there's a zero-tolerance policy. He knows his store is a source of problems in the community. He knows that we're trying to clean up that community. It says on the card you're supposed to protect and serve, but you're not protecting and serving. You're harassing. The lawsuit seeks a change in city policy and financial compensation for Sampson, Ali, and the other plaintiffs. According to the suit, if you took all 288 times Sampson's been detained and arrested, that amounts to about once a week for the past 4+ years. Amber Taylor, CNN, Savannah.
Thank you, Amber, for that report. Our next story highlights White Burger, a man that committed many horrible acts throughout this country. Let's take a look. Convicted Boston gangster James Woody Bulger stood emotionless, his arms by his side, as he was sentenced Thursday to a 2-life term plus 5 years as an architect of criminal enterprise that, in the words of a federal judge, committed unfathomable acts that terrorized the city. The 2-day sentencing hearing was a final chapter in the life of one country's most notorious criminals and fugitive. A federal jury found Bulger, 84, guilty in August of 31 counts, including racketeering, extortion, money laundering, drug dealing, and weapons possession. The jury held Bulger responsible for 11 killings from 1973 through 1985. The testimony of human suffering that you and your associates inflicted on others was at times agonizing to hear and painful to watch. U.S. District Court Judge Denise Casper said, "At times, I wish we were watching a movie, that what we were hearing was not real. But as the family of the victims all know, it's not a movie." Casper also ordered Bulger to pay $19.5 million in restitution to the victims' families and to forfeit $25.2 million to the government. The sentencing came a day after the court heard from the relatives of the people he killed and of those who were slain by accomplices in the treacherous Winter Hill gang. We'll be right back after this commercial break.
It's not about winning or losing. It's not about individual achievements.
Why do we play? We play because we have heart.
We play because we have drive.
We play to show our determination. SSU Athletics. Just play. NFL Hall of Famer Bum Phillips passed recently. Amber, could you let us know a little more about that?
A Texas Whitehead crossed through the pearly gates Friday. Bum Phillips, the former NFL football coach who led the Houston Oilers to glory and struggled with the New Orleans Saints, died at age 90. Bum is going to heaven loved and will be missed by all. Great dad, coach, and Christian, tweeted his son Wade Phillips, himself defensive coordinator for the Houston Texans. Phillips' tall, white Stetson's cowboy hat was hard to miss, though he didn't wear in dome stadiums like Houston's Astrodome or Louisiana Superdome. His mother told him never to wear his hat indoors, he liked to say. His nickname stuck out like a sore thumb, especially whenever his team stakes were down and fans weren't being nice about it. Bum was born Earl Andrew Phillips in 1923, but his older sister stuttered and couldn't say the word brother. It came out wrong, and the affectionate nickname was born according to an official biography. It was a term of endearment that had no derogatory meaning. Bumisms, but Phillips' true trademark were the deadpan sayings he regularly dropped, fully original and spiced with human and gritty truisms. They got him laughed at sometimes and admired at other times for their grain of truth. The term bumism was coined to collect them. His most famous one had to be, "There's two kinds of coaches, them that's fired and them that's going to be fired." He once told sportcaster Bob Costa that the reason that he took his wife on away games was because she's too ugly to kiss goodbye, the NFL said. Phillips started his career as a high school coach in the 1950s and 1960s, according to the NFL. He joined the Oilers in 1974 as defensive coordinator when they were defeated and down, then advanced to head coach in the late 1970s, turning them into a winning team. The Oilers are now the Tennessee Titans, and Houston's team is now the Texans. He had a reputation for being an affectionate motivator. The NFL put him on the list of the 10 most motivational coaches in professional football history.
Reporting live from Tiger Arena, I'm Amber Taylor, and here we're at the Savannah State versus Florida National basketball game, where the Tigers are currently leading 69-49.
You're just arriving, but how do you think the Tigers will perform tonight?
I think they're going to do excellent as always because the basketball team is thebomb.com. Yes, so I do believe they're going to be outstanding. And right now, as I'm looking at the score, 74-52, Tigers are in the lead.
Yes, they are. And since they're in the lead, do you think they'll make it to the championships this year?
Most definitely. I've been to every game that they had so far, and they have did outstanding. They won every game, so they're on a winning streak. Yay, Tigers.
Well, thank you for chatting with us, and we'll catch you next time.
Thank you.
Okay. I think the Tigers are going to perform tonight.
I think they're going to do very well. They're one of the best teams in the conference, so I expect a win out of them tonight.
Do you think they're going to make it to the championship?
Of course, it'll be a three-peat for us if we do. They have some young freshmen coming in, and I think they have great potential.
Okay. And how often do you come to the games?
I come as often as I can, as often as my schedule permits. I'm a fan.
Are you a senior, junior, sophomore?
I am a junior biology major.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you for chatting with us, and we'll catch you next time. So how do you think the Tigers are going to perform tonight?
I think they're going to do pretty good. Like, they usually do a good job, so.
I agree. And do you think they're good enough to make it to the championship?
Of course, they're Tigers. Why not?
And how often do you come in this arena to watch the Tigers play?
Pretty often when I don't have homework. So I usually come most of the time.
And are you a junior, senior, sophomore?
Senior.
High five. Well, thank you for chatting with us. Thank you for chatting with us, and we'll catch.
Savannah State University's Financial Aid Administration Building was named in honor of the institution's fourth president, James A. Colston, who served as president for Savannah State University from 1947 until 1949. Colston became the first African American to serve as president of a college in the state of New York and was among the first to lead a predominantly white college when he was named president of the Bronx Community School in 1966. Under Colston's administration, Savannah State became accredited by the Southern Association of Colleges and Schools. During his term as president, the campus was modernized to include the construction of the first student center and the installation of the first campus-wide telephone system. Additionally, he established the school's first Office of Public Relations as well as the campus chess program. Colston resigned as the president from Savannah State University in 1949.